You're listening to the Talking Walls fans' reactions for the 24-25 Premier League season.
Bit of a disappointing one that. I thought we weren't too bad. I think we've been much worse and, got results. I thought we were worse last week against Bournemouth in ways. It's finished Wolves 1, Fulham 2 in a game where I think we were the better side in large portions of that game. We just let ourselves down defensively, and that's been a running theme across the season so far. Conceding goals early in the first half, really early in the first half, and then pretty early in the second half as well, just through lapses of concentration and poor defending. First goal was, I'm Semedo's biggest fan. However, you've got to make your decision quicker there, because the moment you hesitate in your decision making, the player making the pass, and I forget who it was, whoever laid in Sessegnon, you've given him the space to make the pass, and then you're already way out of position. So I think you've got to be quicker in your decision making. You either stay or go. Sessegnon does well with the finish, but it's disappointing because you're starting the game on the back foot then. But we responded well. I thought we were, really, really positive going forward in the first half, which can't be said for the second half, to be honest. I thought started the second half decent after their second goal. We tested Leno a couple of times. Fulham players were, they were decent defensively in that low block. It was a weird switch for them to go to 5 at the back, but I think it worked well for them, and we just couldn't break them down that second half at all. It was quite painful to watch. There was a lack of imagination, even with Sarabia coming on. Don't know what Menezes offered up top. I like the idea of Menezes, but I'm struggling. Everyone's, we've signed him as this kind of forward-thinking midfielder who gets into the right areas, and he does. But it's pointless getting in the right areas if you can't stick your chances away, and we've seen him miss multiple chances. And today he didn't really offer much at all going forward. You can't exactly blame him. It's tough against 3 centre halves, but we didn't give him much to work with either. So you can't stick all the blame on him. But it was a weird one. I thought we were decent. We should have maybe done better against a Fulham team that's kind of prepping for the FA Cup. It was a weaker Fulham team today, and we had, the best team that we could put out, pretty, unchanged. A little bit disappointing. But if you'd have told me out of Bournemouth and Fulham, we'd got 3 points, I'd have taken that, to be honest. I would have taken 2 draws against them. Walking out with 2 points, so walking out with 3 is no bad thing at all. And we've got. I think it might be Arsenal next, but after that we've got a decent run of games where we can hopefully put some points together, put some results together, and just pull ourselves even further away, because we need to try and finish this season strongly on a high as opposed to going out on a whimper. So we'll see what happens, but I'll catch you in the next one.
Finished Wolves 1, Fulham 2. Really disappointing performance this afternoon, or this evening should I say. Really, really poor, probably the worst we've had under Pereira so far. And we lost the game really in the first minute of each half. 2 really poor defensive errors really leading to the 2 goals. First one, don't know how we played him onside. Should never be onside there. Haven't seen it again, but the defender's clearly not in line, clearly not communicating. He's onside by a mile in the end and sticks it in the back of the net, and used to going into the game after a minute 1-0 down, and just really, really poor, and give ourselves a bit of a mountain to climb. And to be fair, we played all right after that first half. I thought we played quite well. A couple of chances for Gomez, one of which he absolutely rifled into the back of the net. Really good finish. And we're going into half time at 1-1, and you're thinking, right, come on, pick it up second half and let's get the win. But really, really poor second half. And it all starts in that first minute. Their striker just runs off of Bueno. He's literally next to him, just runs round Bueno as if he's not there, and chips it over Sarr. And I don't blame Sarr at all. It's completely Bueno's fault. But you can't have the striker just run around you and stick the ball in the back of the net, especially not in the first minute of the half. So poor. And after that, Fulham just stick 11 men behind the ball. To be fair to them, they're organised, they're compact, but we had no idea how to break them down. We go down one side, back again, down the other side, back again, and really second half created nothing. A couple of half chances maybe from some corners, but that was about it. And got to be the worst performance under Pereira really. And I think each of the back 3 individually are not bad players, but that combination of Doherty, Bueno and Totti just doesn't seem to work. And on Saturday they were solid enough, but too many times this season we've seen that combination of the back 3 just leaking far too many soft goals. And I think we lack a little bit in midfield in terms of creativity as well. I thought Bellegarde had a fairly good game. How Bellegarde and Andre come off and Menezes stayed on the pitch, I have no idea. Not for me at all. Menezes, very, very poor footballer. A couple of times today, tried to lay the ball off a couple of yards and just went nowhere near it. And I think he must have touched the ball 3 times tops in that second half. So I think Andre and Bellegarde can feel very hard done by there. But yeah, so very, very poor performance tonight. But Bournemouth away in the cup next game, hopefully get another win.
Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Fulham 2. Not a lot really to say about that game. I actually thought that going into the game, very confident, as you'd have heard on the podcast, about actually starting to pull away from those bottom 3 teams below us. And I actually thought we'd go and beat Fulham tonight quite convincingly. I thought we'd have a bit of momentum, a bit of form and impetus to go and capitalise on that. And actually, I think the first half performance, we played quite well, actually, on the whole. Granted, you go 1-0 down after a minute. And for me, it's too easy, really. It's one ball down the side of the defence, and Ryan Sessions ran onto it. And to be fair to him, he's put it away very well, but it's just too easy at this sort of level to be giving those sort of goals away. We got back into it around sort of the 20-minute mark, maybe just a bit earlier than that, with a well-taken goal by Gomez. And we actually, like I say, we finished that first half very much in the ascendancy. I felt like we were on top of the game, and I was hoping that, we'd go and kick on in that second half to go and get the 3 points, because I don't think Fulham offered much, really, at that point. And, to go and concede a goal like that at the start of the second half, should I say, for me as a Premier League team, it's just completely inexcusable that you concede goals within the first minute of the first half and the first or second minute of the second half. It's just not good enough. And I think, it's a good ball by Adama Traore, who I actually think we looked after him quite well throughout the game, but he actually played a good through ball. And yeah, I think Bueno's, quite flat-footed. I don't think he's the quickest of defenders, as we know. But Muniz very much made him look like a fucking slouch. And again, I feel like I struggle with Sarr a lot. People that listen to the podcast know that I'm not a fan. And I thought he was culpable for both goals at Liverpool, or certainly the penalty at least. And then I thought he actually played quite well against Bournemouth, did the basics very well. And then his decision-making again today, I'm not sure why he's come off his line that far. It made Muniz's decision up for him that he could just dink it over him. I think Totti was coming across and would have possibly put a challenge in, or at least been able to jockey Muniz and show him away from goal a little bit. But the fact that Sarr's just come out, he's allowed him to dink him, and the decision-making from him at times is so poor. And again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I think we need a new goalkeeper, big time. I think we need to upgrade on Sarr as soon as we possibly can. I said that last summer. I'm going into this one as well. I just think, we need to look at that position. Shot stopping has always been good for me, but he just gives away too many goals with brain farts. And tonight was another one for me. And again, he's not completely culpable for the whole thing. I thought Bueno got bullied at times by Muniz in that first half, especially. And, he's just too flat-footed. And I think actually I don't think Bueno's a bad footballer. I just think he's not the quickest, not the strongest, not the most mobile, not the most athletic. And in the Premier League, you struggle with that at times. And I think actually losing Agbadou to injury, who was so commanding in there, was so athletic, was so physical, was so strong, you already see the drop-off for me, that we need him getting back as soon as we possibly can. I've seen a bit of doom and gloom online straight after the game and whatever. And again, look, I don't think we were horrendous in that second half either, to be honest with you. I think, we huffed and puffed, but I think there was very little quality there. And actually, when we go behind in games, the biggest thing for me is we don't have anyone who wants to run behind the defence. We have no one, trying to stretch the defence out. So actually, I think defences and teams can push up on us because we haven't got blistering pace to go and hurt them the other way. And when we're behind in games, we're trying to get back into games and stuff. We just seem to get squeezed further back away from the penalty box, and that's something I think Vito needs to look at as well. Coming to the summer, that we've got a lot of similar profile of players. We've got good footballers in there, but we just don't have people that have got that X factor. Now, the one person in the squad I think has got that potential X factor, although we haven't seen it, and I'm not a massive fan on it, is someone like Carlos Forbes. But I think it shows today actually that he really doesn't fancy Carlos Forbes. I don't think there's an injury with Carlos Forbes, and Mateus Mane's on the bench today, who has got a lot of promise. 17 years old, England international already, came to us from Rochdale. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing him later on in the season as I expect we will, pull away from the relegation zone, I think we might see minutes from him, and it would be exciting to see him, how he could fit into it. But definitely we need a different profile of player within those forward positions. It does feel like Cunha or bust a lot at the moment watching Wolves, and I thought Cunha was okay at times. I thought in the second half, especially the sort of last 15-20 minutes, he was trying too much, which he does often when we're chasing games, and some of the deliveries into the box and his decision making was quite poor, actually. Quite disappointing on the whole. But look, we've got to move on from it now. We've got Bournemouth on the weekend in the Cup. It's a chance to get to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. It's not all doom and gloom from my side. I think we've got to have confidence to go back down to Bournemouth and after the league win and go and get a win in the Cup. I think Ryan Christie's got injured tonight. They've got problems at centre half with suspensions and injuries as well. So yes, they're a good team, but there's no reason why we can't go there and go and win the game again. So look, disappointing night. I think let's not get too down on the result itself. It's been and gone now. I think there's a lot more winnable games coming up. We've got to back the team, back the boys, and on to the next one. I'll see you soon on the next pod.
When you just think we're turning the corner, we put in that shower of shite. Unbelievably poor today. I couldn't quite believe what Wolves I was watching. He's gone unchanged. I'm sure the lads are tired, bless them. And I'm sure they're really struggling with fatigue at the moment, playing so many games. Putting their heart and soul into it. I don't know if you can sense my sarcasm. You can't put in the performances you've been putting in against your Bournemouths, against your Liverpools, against your Villas, and then when you come up against a second-string Fulham team at home, you play like it's a testimonial. You're not switched on from the first minute in both halves. It's absolutely embarrassing. They've scored the same goal twice in both halves. 1 minute into each half and that we've conceded. And that's what's ultimately killed us. We've got an uphill battle from the first minute of each half. We do well to get back in the game in the first half with a good goal from João Gomez. Well, I thought maybe him and Totti Gomez are probably only the two shining lights of today. And then you think, all right, get him in and come out the second half ready and willing to fight to get 3 points. 3 points for us today would have been absolutely massive. And now we're hoping Ipswich lose tomorrow again. It's unbelievably poor from us. People around me saying we didn't play that bad. What have we seen today that looked any good? We don't know how to break teams down when they're defending against us. We look so void of any confidence in front of goal. We've got nobody who's creative enough to try and unlock these defences. So that's it. Easy to play against Wolves. You go 1-0 up, you stick 11 men behind the ball, there you go, 3 points for you. It's as simple as that. And I'm not gonna rant and rave too much because we have been good. We have been good since Vitor came in, and I think we had a little patch where we weren't so good, and then we've pulled it back recently. But you can't put in performances like that at home. You just can't do it. There's no want, no fight, no idea. Nobody had a clue what to do when we had the ball. You've got your best players just stood there on defenders, hoping for something to fall to their feet or hoping for somebody to whip a perfect ball in. Nobody wanted the ball today, and that's the most frustrating thing. I do think we lack a bit of something going forward. I think today we didn't really have a lot of pace, and I think maybe towards the end of the game, when they were high up and one ball in behind with a bit of pace, you're giving them something else to think about rather than passing it to Strand Larsen, who's not the quickest. Sarabi, who came on, he's not quick at all. Nobody really thought today could have just took a man on 1v1 And we had the chance to do that, and we just didn't want to do it. It's just frustrating, so frustrating. And I don't want to sound like a mardy arse, but it's hard not to when you know the team that we've got is good enough to fight in the Premier League and good enough to be in the Premier League. But you're putting in performances like that, then we are a relegation team. And I mean, this is the start of a good run of fixtures for us. And I hope, fingers crossed, that we can pull through. But we've got to want it more. And maybe we are fatigued. Maybe we are a bit tired, but it's not a good enough excuse for me. You just work hard for the 90 minutes. And if we say, they put their all in today and we still lost the game, fair play. But I don't think they did today. So we move on to the cup game Saturday. I would play a massively changed team. I don't think the cup... I know we are well into it. And, we're 2 games away from Wembley, but the bigger picture is staying in the Premier League. That will be the key. Well, that's the key for me. So I hope he goes a little bit changed and gives a couple of players the rest that they need. And then we have a big performance against Everton at home the following Saturday. It's another night game. So yeah, frustration. But I can see what we're trying to do. Didn't work today. Fulham did what they had to do. And that's the end of it. So we move on to Bournemouth next week. Cheers for having me on, lads. We'll possibly see you in 2 weeks.
So it's finished. Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Fulham 2. Sam jumping back on the channel again to basically quick highlight and key points that win the game. So I'll get straight into it, basically the same way the game started. So 1-0 down after in the first minute or first 90 seconds or so of the game. Was obviously a massive kick in the teeth. It showed a bit of naivety. I think Santiago obviously held the player up, and then Andre felt like he was going to nick the ball off the Fulham play. Didn't. It bounced out into midfield, played it out into midfield. And then Semedo and Dozy took a chance as well to try and win it there. They didn't win it. And then it was played out wide, and then we knew he was in trouble. And as soon as that happened there, I thought, oh no, they're through. Ryan Sesson was through. He was always going to score. So we gambled there. It was a bit naive defending from both Santi Bueno and Andre and Doherty and Semedo. That was needless, really, and that was a poor goal to concede. I'll get further into that later on, I think, about the defending. But saying that, though, I think we bounced back quite well, particularly towards the end of the first half. We scored a really good goal. We had a couple of chances for that. We got the ball moving really well. Bellegarde was key to that. I thought he was moving, get the ball. Some combinations between him and Ait Noor was quite good. A couple of decent crosses. Before Joe Gomez actually got his goal, whipped a couple of decent balls in from that side, and then obviously Semedo was lurking back post as well. So we actually looked like we were going to create chances. We scored. Then as soon as we scored, we seemed to stop. We seemed to, like the 5-10 minutes of the first half. We then really backed off again, and we were under the cosh a little bit from Fulham, and we seemed to stop playing, stop battling. I said to the people around me, the game was so key in the transitions. As soon as Fulham, or we give the ball away, and it was transitioned over quickly to Fulham, we were at pieces. They seemed to carry the ball past us, and midfield couldn't seem to get back into position. That's where it really killed so many points in the game. And I don't know what it was, because I thought Andre and Gomez weren't horrendous. I thought they were pretty good today. Particularly Joe Gomez, he covered loads of ground. And Andre was pretty good on the ball, particularly first half. So I thought I couldn't really figure out what the issue was there in midfield. And then second half, I said at half time I took a point. Let me know in the comments whether you'd taken that as well. I probably would have taken a point. It's obviously easy now, but just trying to get a further distance away. Every point matters at this point, at this stage of the season. But this comes from having injuries, I think. Now, if Agbadou is playing instead of Santi Bueno, and that ball gets played in behind by Traore, fantastic ball by Traore, by the way. Never did anything like that in the 5 years he was with us, but great ball in behind from Traore. Santi Bueno hasn't got the pace to get back in. Sarr knows he hasn't got the pace to get back in. So Sarr comes out early, commits, and then gets lobbed. Now, I think if Agbadou's playing there, I think Sarr stays on his line. He thinks Agbadou can get back in and recover, and then Sarr doesn't come out and doesn't get chipped. So that comes from Santi having no pace and not reading the game very well. If it's up to me now, I think moving forward, I think Dija's got to be having a go. Let's have a look at Dija. Let's get him started. Let's break him in a little bit until Agbadou's fit. Because Santi does the same thing every week. He doesn't combat enough, so doesn't battle enough. Gets an early booking. That's him done for the game. Again, towards the end of the second half, we had loads and loads of the ball. We just couldn't do anything with it. We couldn't break the teams down. We tried to bring Strawberry and Tommy on to try and do that, but we just couldn't. Fulham just sat in back in, and we couldn't get through. And we couldn't. There wasn't enough movement. Kuhn went missing the last 20 minutes, half an hour of the game. Was like drifting all over the place. Started messing around trying to nutmegs, knock it off people, closing him and right Norrie space down. He was messing around towards the end. Didn't really do much. And the frustration, I think Fulham didn't have to work that hard really. We didn't really put them under that much pressure. I think we're missing the pacey players. I think towards the second half, we would have someone like Roger Gomez, Guedes, Swang, those sort of players that could run in behind, give Fulham something else to think about. It was all in front of the back line, and that suited Fulham perfectly. I just think we do miss those players today and miss a bit of pace. Hopefully we're going to the Cup now. Bournemouth, chances are beating Bournemouth again in like a week, in space of a week or so. He's very slim, but we'll see what happens in that one. Hopefully we can push on to the next one. I'll catch you next one, Wolves fans. See you in a bit.
I didn't get it today. Not at all. It was a waste of time even bothering because the players didn't even show up. So why would we bother to show up is my opinion and my take on the game. Zero movement off the ball. No urgency. We were basically losing for the entirety of the second half because they can't keep concentration at the beginning of halves today apparently. But zero lack of awareness about what the scoreline was. I felt walking around. I don't know if they were tired from last weekend or what, but it's so frustrating to watch us pass it around the back or us constantly try and switch it to the wing back over and over again for them to just turn around and pass it back and do the same thing over and over again for 5 to 10 minutes of the same amount of play. Sure, we're keeping possession of the ball, but we're not a very good possession team. So you might as well just lump it to their keeper and sit back and play on the counter, because that would have suited our strengths much better today than actually allowing us the ball and trying to pick Fulham apart. And they defended brilliantly. Of course they did. That's part of the game. I understand that. But when you're constantly getting it to the wing backs, Rain Aït-Nouri, like one of the most talented players with the ball at his feet, such great ball control, just wants to turn around and pass it back to the centre halves over and over and over again. Doesn't want to take his man on whatsoever. Semedo was trying on occasion, bless him, but what can he do if there's no movement in the middle of the box, or it was so congested in the middle of the park that it didn't feel like anyone was moving to create any sort of space. There was no link-up play, especially when Bellegarde went off. As soon as Bellegarde goes off, we have nothing. I don't know what Munetsi actually offers this team. He was out there just doing cardio today. He could have gone for a run this morning and probably done the same amount of use outside of the pitch as he was on the pitch today. So he was useless, if I'm being entirely honest. Cunha was lazy. There were many, many times where we're lumping the ball forward, or we want to get it forward quickly, and he's just jogging back offside and he has to leave the ball because he's offside. Same with Strand Larsen, he's just come on the pitch. You're not even making an effort to get back onside. I thought today the team was terrible. I really did. The only person to come out with any credit today is João Gomez, in my opinion. I thought he was brilliant. He was everywhere. His work rate was the only player on that team today that I could say, hand on heart, wanted to win the game. Everybody else, not asked whatsoever. It's almost like they thought on the weekend, oh, we beat Bournemouth now, we're safe. That's almost what it came across like. There was no urgency to try and get back into the game whatsoever. It was so frustrating to watch. One of the worst performances of the season, especially at home. Just offered absolutely nothing. Pretty much from the moment we scored the equaliser to the end of the game, offered absolutely nothing. Really, really poor today.